No, I'm really just too hit to spill.
Hey man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm always tuning in. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm always tuning in. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm always tuning in.
What's going on, y'all? You already know what it is. This is Tunensports, and I am one of many voices for Cavs fans around the world. But thanks for tuning in to me live, and shout out to you on the playback. And also, of course, don't forget to push that like button for your boy. It helps out the channel, man. And yeah, man, just hit that like button. But yo, we got to talk about it. But hit that like button.
Push the button. Come on. Push the button.
What are you doing?
I'm just playing along. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
Come on. Push the button. Come on.
So you can push that like button. It's free, man. Don't be scared to push that like button. But let's talk about it. We get straight to it, right? So Cavs insider Chris Fedor just dropped some interesting news for us to speak on, or for me to speak on. So according to reports, articles, and the man Chris himself, and I have audio, I will play it. I'll play it in a few, but he says Cleveland is more open to trading Darius, Garland, and Jarrett Allen now than past years. So it's like, question is, why now? Why are the Cavs more willing to move two key pieces of their core, or maybe one, or maybe both? Let's break it down. I'm gonna play the audio first, but let's break it down. Let's play the audio.
Them. Right? It hasn't been the same core. Like, the same two pieces have been there, but the other parts have changed. They got rid of Marcus Smart, who was like the heart and soul of their team, because they thought that was going to make them better, and it did. And it won them a championship. But it's like all of the other components around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have all changed over the last couple of years. Those two are the untouchables. I think when we're talking about the Cavs, like, yes, they prefer to keep the core four together and see if they can build around them and find the right pieces around them and see if there's a viable way to do that, given the limitations that come with being a luxury tax team and a second apron team. In saying that, I think the two untouchables are Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. And like, I have been getting the sense that like the Cavs would be more willing to entertain and at least consider possibilities for Jarrett Allen and Darius Garland than they have in the past. Now, that all comes down to, it's got to be the right deal. It's got to be the right pieces coming back that the Cavs believe would be a step forward, as opposed to just a lateral move or a step back. Like, I don't think they're in a situation where they're saying to themselves, we got to shed this salary. Like, we need to find a dumping ground for Darius Garland's contract or Jarrett Allen's contract. And the reason why, and like everybody always asks me, like, why do you bring up Darius? Why don't you talk more about Jarrett Allen? Because I think the package of players that the Cavs could get back in return for Darius is going to be higher. There's a need for a player like him. The point guard market in free agency is non-existent, basically. Kyrie Irving's probably going to go back to Dallas, and James Harden's probably going to go back to the Clippers. And now you're talking about like the second tier guys. So there aren't a bunch of teams with money in free agency. There aren't a bunch of great free agent point guards available. So if you're a team like Orlando, if you're a team like Sacramento, and you're trying to improve your point guard spot, you're going to call Cleveland. You're going to call Atlanta with Trae Young. Maybe you kick the tires on Chris Paul as like a trusted, wily veteran that you can bring to your group that you think can like stabilize some things or provide some level of steadiness at the point guard spot that you just haven't had. Maybe you're calling Charlotte and you're seeing what it would take for Lonzo Ball. That's what you do. You start to weigh all of your different options. And the reason why I don't bring up Jarrett Allen as much, because the package of players that you get back for Jarrett, like, it's just not going to make that much of a difference for this team. And I don't know that it's going to make them significantly better. Like, is Dalton Connect and Rui Hachimura for Jarrett Allen going to make this team that much better? Like, those are the kinds of deals that you're talking about for Jarrett. Now, Darius is a little bit different, right? If you're a team that can go out and you can look at some potential trades, okay. Now we're talking about what would the Cavs get back in return. And again, I'm not saying that the Cavs are going to go down this road, but they're going to get to a point where they're going to have to balance out the roster a little bit more than what it is, and they're going to have to balance the checkbook a little bit more than what it is. And if you can find, nobody that you're going to get back is going to be Darius in terms of pedigree, in terms of talent, in terms of he's a two-time All-Star for a reason. Like, he's a max contract player for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the best young point guards in the Eastern Conference for a reason. So are you going to get that back? No, but can you reconfigure your roster? Can you restructure your salary cap by using Darius and find multiple players? Like, one of those maybe is a point guard. Not as good as Darius, but can provide enough good things that you feel like, well, the ball handling responsibility is going to be on Donovan a little bit more, or the offense is going to flow through Evan Mobley a little bit more. Or you bring back Ty Jerome and you give him a bigger role in terms of ball handling responsibilities, whatever the case may be. So I just think, like, when you're at a point that the Cavs are at with their roster, with, the way the season ended earlier than anybody expected, and with their salary cap situation, you have to start considering some of these alternatives. And you have to start having very difficult conversations. Conversations that are going to be painful. Maybe even subtractions from the roster that are going to be painful. So the one that I keep bringing up, Ethan, and look, I don't think there's going to be a trade that I'm going to bring up in a hypothetical, whether it's for Jarrett Allen, whether it's for Darius Garland, whether it's for a combination of Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, that is going to stop and make people say, that's a no-brainer. Got to do that one. But I think there's one out there that would make some sense from the Cavs' perspective. Okay. Orlando is a team that is desperate for a point guard. Everybody knows that. They need scoring. They need shooting. But I just think stylistically, Darius' style is one that is really difficult in a playoff environment. for a high minute, high usage player, it's really difficult. He can get pushed around. He can get attacked on defense. They can hunt him in switches and mismatches. He can be bothered by the physicality and the tenacity and the playoff level stuff that Aaron Nesmith is going to provide, that Derek White is going to provide, that Andrew Nembhard is going to provide, that, you know, you would probably have to deal with Josh Hart or with Mikal Bridges, those guys guarding Darius. And yes, he has advantages himself. His stop-start, his change of direction, his handle, his hesitation, his craftiness. So it's not saying that Darius can't be a successful playoff performer. But I think his style is one where you have to have like all of the right pieces around him to become the team that you believe that you need to be. And I just think, you know, for this team, some of the defensive limitations, whether Darius was 100% or not, were always going to show up. That smart coaches, smart opponents, disciplined opponents were going to find a way to neutralize Darius or make him pay and make the Cavs pay so much on the defensive end that, not that he was going to get played off the floor or anything along those lines, but it was going to offset a lot of what the Cavs could become offensively.
So yeah, Chris Fedor, shout out to the Wine and Gold pod. Yeah, Chris Fedor said a lot, man. So first, why are the Cavs considering trading DG and Jarrett Allen? Right? That's what you got to ask yourself, right? Why is Darius, Garland, Jarrett Allen not untouchable? Because we already heard, I mean, common sense, but Donovan, Mitchell, and Evan Mobley are untouchable. But when it comes to guys like Darius and Jarrett Allen, that's a whole nother story, right? And shout out to DFJ, shout out to Bubba, shout out to Andre. Said just listening, shout out to Andre. I see you though, man.
I know that ain't who I think it is. Little big brother.
So shout out to you, but back to the Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen thing. So first you have to say, like, why, right? So key points to urge to this idea, right? Well, you have another disappointing, playoff loss. It's been 3 seasons, same results. You lost in 5. I know the Cavs was able to get out the first round. That's a, accomplishment, but they lost in 5 games. For me, it was ECF or bust this year because, just look at the East, right? And you have the toughness of this team that's in question. And also the second apron stuff. So financially, that stuff also is in question. And Chris already said it. It's not a secret, that, those 2 guys, those 2 players are, going to be untouchable. And yes, I am saying Mobley because that's going to be, your second best player, or we hoping he be the best player for the Cavs. And, he probably will need to be better than, just being that second best player going forward. But you're building around your franchise players like Donovan Mitchell, who you traded for, you get extension to. You building around Evan Mobley, who you hoping to be the best player on the team because that's what it takes to win it all. That's what we hoping. And the same guys that been in the trade rumors before are now back in trade rumors again. So Bobby Ports, they are not untouchable. Now he mentioned a couple teams. Any involvement with the Lakers will be my last option. I don't want nothing they got. Like I was talking to Jospeh about this also. Like I don't know. I don't like Lakers could benefit from trading for Jarrett Allen, but how do that make the Cavs better? You're improving the Lakers, but how do that improve the Cavs? Like taking the Austin Reeves, I'm not a fan of. And a Ruby, is that really enough? I don't think so, man. I would probably rather keep Jarrett Allen. I have to like get more out that package, but the Lakers would be a last option. I really, I don't want nothing he had because, like Chris said, how does it improve our team? Now, Jarrett Allen, he he's a good guy, right? Shout out to Jay, man. High IQ, you know, defensive anchor, smart guy, build computers, play Pokemon, play Pokemon Go. He's the type of dude that, you know, you stick up for. He's not gonna stick up for himself all the time. He the type of dude you stick up for, in the gym. Don't let nobody, run all over him. He the type of dude you let him take your daughter or sister out, and you trust him. He will have them back before 10. He's that type of guy. Seriously, he's a good dude, man. Good guy, man. I'm a Jarrett Allen fan, but like he's been a solid anchor for the defense. He's been helping Mobley in the front court, but his effort and toughness comes into question too many times. 1 minute he's giving you 20 and 15. He's looking like a top 5, top 8 center. He gave you a 20 and 15 type of game. Next minute he's finishing the game with 4 rebounds, or he's being, he being benched and Mobley is finishing the game out, right? I mean, the guy struggled in that Pacers series. And he wasn't hurt. Like, yes, he played every game, including the regular season. That is, hats off to that. But what good is it if you look non-existent out there in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? So 4 years in a row where we questioning Jarrett Allen toughness and effort and play, because that play-in tournament, you didn't play because of a finger injury. Y'all probably forgot about that. That play-in tournament versus the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets. We played 2 teams. We had to play the Nets and the Hawks. I believe that play-in. Yeah, that's when the soft allegations, from some Cavs fans started. Then you got punked in the Knicks series by the New York Knicks, big man. They made fun of you in the media. They eating chicken wings. They saying, you scared. You seeing ghosts. The lights are too bright. Then you got out rebounded by their guards. That made it like even crazier. And then you wasn't available to play last year. Your own teammates was questioning you because you refused to take any, type of injections to get back on the court. At the time, JB even called them out right after JB got fired. He called them out, giving props to Luka for doing what it takes for his teammates, to get to the finals. And they made it to the finals. Luka was, hurt. And JB gave Luka props. And to be fair, I'm 50-50 with that. Like, because I understand if a guy don't want to put nothing in their body. So for me, I get it. Like, I always have like a little sympathy for that, right? But you are a professional athlete, but I get it, right? But against the Pacers, 11 points and 6 rebounds in game 4 and 5 combined. In game 4, you had 2 points and 2 rebounds. How is that possible?
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I don't know, man. Like, again, I like Jarrett Allen, but like, if you can improve the team, of course you improve the team, right? Of course you improve the team. Now, moving along to Darius Garland, right? Now, why would you consider trading Darius Garland? Why would the Cavs consider trading Darius Garland? Well, Darius Garland fit next to Donovan Mitchell at all. It always been like a question for fans and media and stuff like that. The small backcourt. Whether you felt like the small backcourt work or not, whether you felt like it worked in a regular season, but it just don't translate in the playoffs. You have two undersized players, and they can't be your best players on the championship team, right? We go by history. We know the history, right? Most of us know the history. Like it's hard for the two undersized players to be your best players, right? Darius Garland, right? Let a guy. He is a defensive liability, right? That's a reason, right? One of the reasons. And the narrative is he's not mature. He didn't even hit his, he still didn't even hit his prime yet, right? Still young. He's not always available, right? When you really need him. Like, I think some fans will probably say he's injury prone. I mean, kinda, yeah. He always, have some type of crazy injury. He hasn't been nothing spectacular in the playoffs. His numbers and percentages, drops. To be fair though, he was injured. Like, we gotta, he was injured this year. So respect to him for playing through the injury. But some people felt like, yo, you waited too long. Like, you was like, when was you gonna come back? Like, did somebody have to make you play and force you to play in that Pacers series? I don't accuse them of that, but they thought you would come back soon because you sat out that Miami series. But again, respect him for playing through the injury. But that's a question, right? His playoff performances, there's nothing that stands out. He had little moments, but it's nothing that stands out like, oh my gosh, like Darius. You remember this Darius Garland playoff game? Like, it's nothing that stands out to me, right? We talking about playoffs, right? So I'm getting ready to shift to the Jalen Suggs conversation, right? I'm getting ready to shift to that. So that conversation is brought up because he is one of the reasons why the Cavs will entertain a Garland trade, right? He could be one of the reasons, right? I'm sure Cavs fans, they seen the mock trade. Let me put it up. It was, it was put out there. Chris Fedor, he spoke about it. Let me move this out the way. The proposed trade is, and shout out to Cleveland Headline. The proposed trade is Darius Garland for Jalen Suggs and Tristan De Silva, right? That's where the Cavs getting back, right? That got a lot of Cavs fans' attention yesterday. Whether you hated it or loved it, it was suggested by Cavs insider Chris Fedor. And you also get like first, second round pick, right? Because I think you would need more than that, right? If you trade away an all-star point guard and Darius Garland. But yeah, you get that back, right? And I said this was going to happen after the playoff loss. Jarrett Allen and DG will be in trade rumors just like last season. But if it ever was a time where the rumors might actually be true, this would be the off season because y'all gotta like stop thinking like it's not going to happen. Like you can't go in that mindset like, or Kobe said he's not breaking it up, like, or Darius Garland fans who just don't want to hear it. Like, y'all just stop. Just stop. When Luka got traded, that raised a lot of eyebrows. Like, whoa. Like, that was one of the biggest trades, like, shockers I ever seen. Like, I never seen nothing like that before. Like, because it just didn't make sense. Like, it looked like it was fake news, but it really happened. So, if Luka could get traded, like we already spoke about this, right? Like, no one's really untouchable, in this era of basketball. Like, it's crazy. Now, you also had to factor in another reason for this trade being suggested. You had to factor in salary cap and tax apron stuff. So the trade itself, right? I said last show, I said no to the Jalen Suggs. I know what I said because of the unknown, like, which is, fair reason. Like, the injury part is unknown. Like, I know some fans have a question about that. Question about his shooting. His shot creating, is it better than Darius? Like, it's the passing. Like this, think about what you're giving up, and you getting this play in return. Think about what they bring to the table. But those are question marks. Those are flags, right? The shooting and the injury stuff. He didn't really, play. He got hurt. I think the most games he played was last season. But I look at this trade as a win-win for both teams. If this trade was to go down, of course, I think you would probably have to get a little more. I like Suggs. I like the silver. I like the silver. I'm a fan of the silver. You get a first, second round pick. I think you probably need something else, right? Because I know you trading away an all-star point guard, Darius Garland. So for me, like, it's a win-win if you're able to get a little more, right? And Magic gets an all-star point guard that can run the offense and shoot the ball and create his own shot and get his plays involved. That helps the Magic out. They finally get a point guard, and Cavs get a bigger guard who's known, for great defense and toughness. And Jalen Suggs, not the best 3-point shooter, but he's capable of shooting the three. So he can shoot the three. He's capable of it. Not like Darius, but he's capable. The problem is, y'all looking at it like, okay, he's not an all-star. He's not Darius Garland. He's not. Now, to be fair, I don't think he's better than Darius Garland. So I'll say that right now, right? He's not a better shooter than Garland or a playmaker. Y'all looking at it like y'all looking at the accolades. Like, why would I trade an all-star for someone who never made the team, right? Or who's always hurt? Suggs been hurt. His average has been, going up though. But you have to look at it besides the trade away the all-star talk. The Cavs could look at it from a financial standpoint and building a more balanced roster, for this team. Garland is set to earn $39.4 million next season. Jalen Suggs is projected to earn $35 million next season. So then you factor in you getting a first-round pick and a second, and you get Tristan da Silva, who I wanted in the draft, by the way, but Orlando ended up taking him. He's someone that I believe could help this team out. They're talking about Dean Wade, no disrespect. I think he's gonna be better than Dean Wade. He's gonna be better. Like, he can shoot, he can defend, got good size. So I'm saying, like, the trade, I would do it. Like, I would do it, but I wouldn't do it right away. Like, it's something to think about. But I'm open to the trade if I can get probably something else with it, right? If I can get another, like, piece or something, like, I'm open to it. It makes the team better defensively, in my opinion. That's important. That's important, right? And shout out to Joseph. Shout out to my guy Joseph. I see you, Joseph. Shout out to Joseph. I make sure y'all tap in with Joseph, man. He had a great stream last night talking about the Browns. So y'all tap in with Joseph. And y'all tap in with DFJ, of course, man. But I see you, Joseph.
I know that ain't who I think it is. Little big brother.
You said one thing to consider with a Suggs trade. Darius has averages 77 games per season so far through 6 seasons. Jalen Suggs through 4 seasons, 64 games. Yep. So that's the only thing though. Like, that's like will be like a flag to me, right? That'll be a flag to me. But we talked about this before, right? Like, willing to take risk. Like I said, I wouldn't just jump on this right away, and I would need more than Suggs and Trent Silver. The picks is cool, but I wouldn't jump on it right away. But I'm open to it, man, because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not against running it back, but if we really trying to win a championship, ask yourself, do you really believe this team can win a championship with the core four? I'm just saying. Andre said, I'm glad my trade proposal makes sense. Yeah, Andre actually, Andre agrees. Bubba agrees. He liked the idea. You said Orlando needs a scoring point guard who can set up Paolo and France as well, and Cleveland needs a bigger guard and to get under the second apron. Yeah. See, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I like I said, so when it's like a win-win, but it's still some red flags there. But you cooking.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Yeah, I totally hear that part, man. LaMelo Ball rumors is firing up, is heating up. Yeah, LaMelo Ball. This offseason is gonna be crazy, man. Shoot, we got the finals already locked. Basically, I just can't wait for the I can't wait. I'm gonna be locked in for the finals, but I can't wait for the off season, man. It's gonna be crazy. These trade rumors and everything. We're gonna see who go where, man. Might be unexpected, but yeah, LaMelo Ball. Interesting to see where he goes. But the Jalen Suggs and Darius Garland, I can understand why some people might not want to make the trade. You know, it is what it is. But let's talk about Jalen Suggs fit with Donovan Mitchell, right? And it's ironic, these two are being mentioned, with each other because I'm talking about Darius and Jalen Suggs because we're just thinking about we had a playoff battle with these two guys, right? Where it got chippy, right? It got intense, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Suggs got a little dog. He got that dog in him, man. But Jalen Suggs, though, man, with Donovan Mitchell, like I think Andre already said it. He likes the idea. You get a bigger guard. Like I love it. Like I like the idea, right? I love the idea. I think that if you put aside the injuries, right? Like let's look past the injuries and how many games being played. He solves the backcourt problem on the perimeter. No, he's not going to shake and bake like Darius, because I think Darius has a top 5, handle in his game, but he's bringing a more balanced approach next to Donovan. And that might fit better with Donovan Mitchell. Who knows? I know Darius takes pressure off Donovan for the things Darius is able to do, but Jalen Suggs might fit better with Donovan Mitchell. Just look at how Mike Conley worked with Donovan Mitchell. Now, Mike Conley was a veteran point guard, probably a better 3-point shooter than Jalen Suggs. But I think defensively, Suggs and Mitchell probably will be better together. I think Suggs makes his team better. He's younger. He's younger. Still injuries. Gotta put that in the fact that he's younger than Darius, but the injury part, he's still like his availability. But I like I said, like in that backcourt, like it looked like it would be a better from a defensive standpoint. He can hold his own in the post, and on bigger players. Looks like the contract could be cheaper, like contract wise. The only problem with me is the injuries. The injuries and the, off-ball shooting or shooting in general, like which he's capable, of doing, just probably not elite. That'll be my only thing with this, with making a deal like this, man. But I think him and Donovan could work. I just like Jalen Suggs, man. But again, them red flags right there, man. the injuries, man. But Darius Garland is like these two guys, Darius and Jarrett Allen. Like they if you want to run it back, bro. Like to the fans out there that want to run it back, that's cool. But I think Donovan could benefit from having another guard that can play defense, that is bigger next to him, man. And you putting Hunter, a real wing in the starting lineup, and you having Mobley, take another big leap. And the question is, if you trade Darius, what do you do with Jarrett Allen? Does he stays? And if you trade Jarrett Allen, I mean, now you have Darius, but you had the two small backcourt. You trade Jarrett Allen. Are you moving Jarrett Allen to the? Are you moving Mobley to the 5? And who's playing power forward? I don't know, man. But Jalen Suggs, I think, is something that you can use, man. Great defender. Could get better. He could get better as a shooter. He's capable of shooting. He could get better as a shooter. Could handle the ball handling duties. Like I say, he's not a floor general point guard like Darius Garland, but like just I could see the Cavs, thinking about it. I could see that. Joseph said, if you're in the East, you're gonna need someone defensively for Halliburton and Cave for the foreseeable future. Yeah, those are big guards. Joseph, I'll drop the link if you want to come in real quick. But if not, you know, it's cool. But that K is 6'7", 6'8", right? Those are big guards to think about, man. And a lot of people talking about the Cavs like the problem wasn't the defense, but I think it was both. Like people say like it was the Cavs offense, the shooting and everything. That was the problem, but I think it was both. You're not gonna be able to win. Like if the goal is to win a championship, right? With with two undersized guards. If the goal, like if you telling me the goal is just to win the regular season games, then cool. Like, what is your goal? Like, is your goal just to get to the playoffs? And all right, the ceiling for the Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals, that could be the ceiling, right? But to win it all with two small undersized guards as your best player, I'll be honest, man, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can do that. Your best players, it has to be Evan Mobley or a wing, like, even improving Donovan Mitchell. People will check down Donovan Mitchell. They don't think he can be the best player on the, championship team anymore. So, he ran his course. His ceiling is second round, but I just think it's unfortunate for Donovan Mitchell. But, yeah, I think making this move, though, let me see. It's just something to just think about. I'm gonna add Joseph in. Joseph is in the building. I'm gonna add you in real quick. If you have any thoughts on this, let me get you in here, Joseph. What's good, Joseph? How you doing, bro?
What's good? Appreciate you coming on my show last night too. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I'm always here to support.
Absolutely. Now I was listening to you. I just got done. Actually, I was cutting grass, so I was listening to you, and the more I thought about it too, as I was cutting grass, you get crazy thoughts. That's where I get
your grass, bro.
No. I'm done now. I'm just saying. I sometimes when I'm out there, I start thinking about trade scenarios and stuff. I'm like different things, but no, I'm just kidding. But no, I like the Jalen Suggs trade. The more I think about it, actually, my only concern, like I said, is he averages 64 games a year, availability wise. So I think that's definitely a concern. How much does playing with Donovan take the load off, or does he have more ball handling duties here? I don't know. I'm not sure what the role would be for him. I would obviously think the point guard, just a true point, which he ran in college. I think that, and he averages 3 assists. I like to see that go up. Now maybe playing in a system here where there's a lot more movement, where I expect more movement, not more hoisting. I think a guy like him would negate that, because I think you would have to run more sets and run more real plays to get everybody involved. That's where I think he'd be utilized more, playing in a real offense. So when I think of the offense, I think Kenny really wants to run, which I think we saw splashes of it this year. I know Kobe Altman was up there after the season trying to say it was some historic offense and all this and, blah, blah, blah. But, in the postseason, you see now these teams that are elite that like the Pacers and the Thunder and all these teams, they run real offense. You look at the Knicks in that series. How many times you watch the Knicks in the series? They got Brunson, who's a really good true point guard, but they're out there going one on.
Oh, let me add you back in. Just drop. Hold on 1 second. Shout out to Bruce. What's good, Bruce? What's up, man? You said no comments. what's good though, Bruce? Yeah, I think Jill said he dropped out. Jill said, yeah, Jill said dropped out. But what's good, Bruce?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You good?
Sorry about that. Now I was in a bad area of my house, but no, I mean I think I like the trade personally. But like I said, you look at the Knicks this series. How many times you see them? They have a true point in Brunson, but how many times were the Pacers actually running plays? How many times were the Knicks out there just going one-on-one and hoisting? A lot.
You need ball movement. Yeah, that the one-on-one is cool, but you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think with Suggs you would have to because he's not a. I mean, he can play. He can go one-on-one, but he's not a great one-on-one player. It's not like what I mean, it's not his. He's not like Gar.
No, he's not. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not. I know people do not probably don't like this idea because they feel like okay, you getting rid of an all-star point guard and Suggs not better than Darius Garland, but I'm looking at it from a defensive standpoint and he brings offense also, but not like Darius. But I'm looking more so at it as like a defensive standpoint, like what he brings on defense. Next to Donovan Mitchell definitely could work. He just got to, the offense just got to pan out and balance out.
Well, here's what else the trade tells me too, is all the stuff they said about Evan Mobley being the guy that we wanted him to be, or they want him to be more of the guy and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this trade does, because by doing this trade, you're saying, Evan Mobley, you're definitely our number 2 guy. Like, we have to run sets for you now because we have to have another scorer alongside Donovan.
Right.
We have to have somebody else that can dominate. Suggs is a guy that can distribute the ball, can run pick and rolls, can run offense, and will take the pressure off Donovan defensively, so he has more energy offensively, which we saw in the postseason did not happen, obviously. But that's what it tells me, too, is that, hey, Evan Mobley, you're going to be the guy. Which I also think, too, Tune, that might mean Jarrett Allen there could be a 2 trade here, where Darius goes first. Let's say you get a Jalen Suggs and a Tristan Da Silva. Now you got another Wayne. Now you can definitely start Hunter as well and make Da Silva that guy off the bench. But also, I think if Evan Mobley's be more of your guy, I think Jarrett Allen, as great as he's been here at times, I think he still kind of clogs the lane a little bit. I think Evan Mobley needs as much space as possible. You have a guy, a unicorn like that. He needs as much space as possible. He doesn't need anybody in his way. I'm not saying him and Allen have played well off each other, but that might be why we haven't seen a lot of Mobley take that extra lead, because I think Jarrett Allen, his only way of being effective is being down by the point in the paint by the dunker, setting screens. I think a lot of times it causes Mobley to have to stand out in the perimeter. I think if Evan's going to be your number 2 guy, you may look to dump off of Jarrett Allen for some more players and maybe get a center that's a little more. Well, maybe you put Mobley at the center and then you get a bigger power forward. I don't know. That could shoot the 3.
But do you want Evan Mobley to play? Are you trusting Evan Mobley to play center full time?
No, not with his size yet. I don't like it. I think he reminds me a lot of Anthony Davis in terms of where Anthony Davis I think is the most effective at the 4. I think that's why he went to the Lakers' office every year, was bitching because they wouldn't get him a center. And
he don't want to play center.
And I think that's why he got hurt a lot too.
His natural position is, just playing a power forward. That's what you want to play. Yeah,
and the year they were great when they won the bubble championship, even before the league shut down, they were the number 1 team in the league because AD was at the 4.
Yeah, so
and they had a JaVale McGee at the 5. Dwight Howard. But those guys, Dwight Howard, especially in that bubble championship, Dwight Howard obviously is Dwight Howard. But even at that time in his career, Dwight was still you weren't going to bully Dwight down low. You weren't going to, and defensively, he did great on Jokic. I don't know if there's anybody that's ever defended Jokic better than Dwight Howard did. And so, but maybe that's the key with Mobley, is getting a guy that can step out a little bit more, but can also be more physical than Jarrett Allen, because it kind of takes the load off of Mobley too, but also allows him to be more creative offensively, I guess you could say, if that makes sense. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but Yeah, I think both of them. If Darius goes, you bring in a Suggs. I think you almost trade Jarrett Allen just to get a better maybe fit for Mobley, and maybe get more pieces on that bench too, if you're able to. I don't know.
I agree with you, man. I just, I think, yeah, what you said, Jarrett Allen definitely. I think Mobley benefit from Jarrett Allen, but I do also think Jarrett Allen takes away from Mobley, like you said, clogging the lanes. We saw what Mobley looked
Uh,
like at the five. We already seen it
yeah,
with space.
I
Like we
think
see
the
what he
the
can do with
best way to
space.
put it, not to cut you off, the best way to
Yeah, go
put
ahead.
it is no. The best way to put it is somebody who is a lesser role than Jarrett Allen, but knows their role. If that makes sense. Like
Let's
Jarrett
roll
Allen,
Jarrett Allen knows his role.
Jared Allen is an all-star. Jared Allen can demand a little bit because he's an all-star. He's I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he puts up the productivity. I just think somebody else who's more of a role player who knows their role. And I mean, they're a role player. They know their role. Like they're here just to. That's what JaVale McGee was. That's what Dwight Howard was that year. They knew their role was defensively. I got to be an anchor down low. I got to be physical on the boards and set good screens. That's my role. I don't need to go out there and score 15, 20 points a night. See, Jared Allen on some nights, he feels like he has to go out there and score 15, 20 points a night. And you look at his averages and shot attempts, it shows that. So I that's my whole point is I think for Mobley to really take off, because what you're doing too is you're telling Mobley you're our guy, like for sure. Like we're running more offense towards you. We're giving you more shots by removing Jared Allen. I mean, Jared Allen, I think averages. Let me pull it up here. His shot attempts. So last year, Jared Allen averaged 13.5 points, 9 boards, 70% field goal percentage, which is great. Shot attempts, though, 2023-24, he had 10 shot attempts. 24-25, this year he had 7.5 shot attempts. So his shot attempts, since he's been here, he's averaged around 9. Really, all 5 seasons he's been here. And so I think Mobley, his shot attempts,
About 12, 13.
I think it's about 13. So let me see. He averaged 18.5 points, 9 rebounds. And yeah, his shot attempts, this phone will load. Okay. His shot attempts were 12.5 this year. So by removing Jared Allen, you're telling Evan Mobley we're giving you about 16, 18 shots a game, which should put you at 25 points if you're efficient enough. That's where we are waiting for him to get to. You know what I mean? That dominant around 25 points a game, 10, 11 boards, 2, 3 blocks a game. That's what we think he's capable of becoming.
Yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to get Mobley, more involved, right? So,
Right. So
like you said,
that's my whole point is get somebody who knows they're more of a role player, who's a starting center caliber, but is a role player.
but you trade. Okay, so all right. So he said God not the answer. Bruce said get Adams. He's cheaper, or Gafford and Trey Allen.
Gafford's an interesting one. I think according to the agent community, for what it's worth, people I trust, that Gafford to the Lakers there's some really good smoke there. A lot of smoke. I mean, maybe Daniel Gafford. Although I think the Lakers could look at Jeremy Grant too. They've always been fascinated with him. So I don't know. But Gafford's an interesting one. I think Gafford's interesting. I think Walker Kessler's interesting. Now you may have to give up a little more to get him, but Walker Kessler for $4 million. I think he's a guy who you look at his career. He's shown flashes that he could be a really good starting center. And he's shown moments where he's just kind of like just a decent center. But I think his upside is still there. I think he's a guy who, in my opinion, would fit the role perfectly. I don't know why. I just think he just strikes. Yeah, I like that. I think especially for the money too. And also, if you look at the Jazz roster, I mean, the Jazz seem like they're always rebuilding. But if you know,
for real.
I think they could use a guy. What do you think of the Jazz possibly inquiring on a guy like Jared Allen? I mean,
well, I mean, you pair him back up with Colin Sexton over there, man. And
if you get some picks from the Suggs trade, and let's say you use some more picks in that trade where you give Utah some picks. I'm not sure what Laurie Markkanen's making, but Could you get a Kessler in a marketing, or is that too much? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
That
think
might
that's
be
probably
too
too much. I'm getting a little
That's
greedy.
being
I'm looking
greedy.
at the
Yeah,
roster. I'm getting a little greedy, but
yeah, you trying to be greedy, Joseph?
I'll go for the jugular. But yeah, I look at their roster. I mean, you'd have to match that. Maybe a 3-team deal. I don't. I just
Yeah,
really like the
3-team.
Walker Kessler idea, though. 7 foot, 245. He's a bigger dude too. 11 last year, 11 points, 12 rebounds. Still a high field goal percentage.
Now he can't. Now if you trade Walker Kessler, he brings the great rim protection, but you can't be shooting threes over here, man. I know he's in Utah, so he's over there taking three.
I mean, if he can make it, that's actually, I mean, that would be ideal with Mobley.
Well, you got to work on it. But...
Yeah, I mean, but it would be ideal with Mobley because it would give Mobley more space to operate down low. But one thing I like about Kessler, though, is 7.5 shot attempts last year and still averaged 11 points and 12 boards. How many blocks did he average?
Yeah, I like
2.4 blocks a game. I just think for the price tag, and I think Utah's just kind of in effort mode where they just need picks because there's, like I said, they're always rebuilding. They're rebuilding. They're rebuilding the rebuild yet again. So I think that's the guy I would target personally. Maybe you get
over Steven Adams. Like Steven Adams could be cheaper. He was all right with the Rockets.
Well, I mean, Walker's 23. That's why I like it.
You going for the younger guy?
And if I get him here, I have his bird rights. And if we get him if we put him in a role. This is kind of shitty towards the players, but this is how front offices think. If we can put him in a role, get it to right, get his numbers right towards not too much, where he doesn't demand that much on the market, we get him for the price we like. It's like the price is right.
It's a business.
It's a business, so I think it's a better business decision for the long term and the short term. But that's for $4 million. I mean,
no, that's a steal for Walker.
That's a steal
for Walker Kessler. Yeah, he's not just some regular guy. He's pretty good. What he brings to the table on defense, great size. Great size.
Yeah, I mean, you give me a Suggs with a Kessler, De Silva. I think now you're.
De Silva. I like Tris. I was high on Tris De Silva.
I was too last year. I liked him a lot too. Yeah,
I think he'd be better than Dean Wade. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, he can at least guard somebody. Dean Wade's a nice guy, but he can't even guard. He can't guard a chair, really. I mean, I just that guy. I'm not picking on him.
I actually hate on D Wade, man. But
I'm not hating on him. My evaluation. I'm just evaluating defensively. I mean,
he grew on me though. He grew on me.
Here's what he does. I like him too. He knows his role. He could shoot the three. He rebounded actually pretty well in that Indiana series. That one game too. He had 10 boards. He steps up. It's just defensively, he is such a liability. He crosses his feet too much. He just looks really nervous when he's out there defensively to me when I watch him up close. Just his footwork and just the way he moves. He's just not a good defender.
And I think he's not doing nothing on offense. He's passing.
Right. Then he ain't giving you nothing.
Right. What's the point of you being out there, right?
Yeah, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. You got to get guys that are consistently more. You want guys that are more multiple and that are more consistent. And that's what this team needs. I mean, you look at the Pacers. They got 6-7 deep, but it's all guys that know their role and they're consistent. That's why they are where they are. That's what we need more of.
So question. So you trade in. So would you trade one of these guys, or are you willing to trade both of these guys? I feel like you trade one, you should trade the other.
I think if you trade, I agree with you. You trade one, you trade the other, because let's say if you inquire Jalen Suggs, which I got to give props to Chris Fedor, he might have hit the trade that may happen, because I think if I'm the Cavs, that's what I'm looking at as a bigger guard.
I wasn't thinking about it. Like, Chris Fedor, the idea came from him. So I was like, wow, that's interesting.
It may have been an idea, or it may have been something he's hearing. I don't know.
Yeah, something cooking up.
There's always speculation. Like I was telling you yesterday in our private message about the agent community always is talking. They talk a lot, and that's where a lot of people get their information. Not saying it's legit, but where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. And I'm looking at the Utah Jazz roster, though. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, their bench, or some of the guys we can put on our bench that we could maybe match salaries with. Could we bring Young Bull back for 1 year, $19 million left on his deal?
Young Bull, man.
And make him the sixth man that everybody thought he was going to be? Because, I mean, Jordan Clarkson.
Could you bring Jordan? picture right here. I love College Jackson, man. I don't know, man.
Jordan Clarkson,
I don't.
1
Wait.
year,
I don't know
14.2.
if I want Jordan Clarkson back though.
I like the Young Bull.
I don't know
Here's
about
my
that.
thing: if you get picks from, you get Suggs, you get the Silva, and you get picks.
Yeah.
From you got that trade scenario, that trade.
So
up
a
there?
three team. You said like a 3-team trade.
Or here's what I would. So put that trade scenario back up there if you got it.
Oh yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, right there. So it says a first and a second round pick. Now the Cavs do have picks in the future. Now some they don't own the rights over to, but they're still first round picks.
Yeah.
And they have second round picks. The Jazz are a team that needs picks. I think if I'm the Jazz, I'm taking the Oklahoma City model, which is go back to 5 years ago. They got a crap load of picks, right? And now you look what they are now, how it panned out. All you got to do is just hit the picks. Danny Ainge, I think, can hit the picks. He just needs an arsenal of picks at his disposal. So if I get picks back in that Magic trade, right, I can unload more picks now in a Jazz trade. I can be a little more greedy with the Jazz. And so if I can get, and I'm doing the trade right now, if I get a Colin Sexton, let's say, and we throw in, well, let's see, Walker Kessler as well. So I'm getting Kessler and Sexton, right? So if I trade away Jarrett Allen is $20 million, that matches Sexton's salary. Actually, it's a little over. And then I can trade Dean Wade or Okoro. And obviously, Okoro is $11 million. And I know the Jazz have been fascinated with Okoro. They've had interest in him in the last offseason. Or would you trade Dean Wade for 6.5 or 6.6? Probably Isaac, because you're gonna you have a log jam now if you bring in De Silva. So if I do that, and let's see if it works. That trade works. So basically, you would trade Jarrett Allen, Isaac Okoro, and a bunch of picks for Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler.
So by you doing that though, you saying that so we not bringing Ty Jerome back?
I think Sexton is more of a 2. I think what you're doing is look at your start. If you have Jalen Suggs, right, you're 6'5" at the point. You're about 6'2", 6'3" at the shooting guard. Your shooting guard is a high volume scorer. That's how he's effective. Your bench now kind of replicates in a lesser way your starting. Ty Jerome, 6'5", right, bigger guard. We saw what he could do. Colin Sexton, 6'2", 6'3", but I think he's most effective when he's scoring. He's a great scorer.
That's what he do.
That's what he does. So I think really you're replicating your backcourt off the bench is just the same as your front court or your starting backcourt and your starting lineup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you have good balance. You can keep running the same consistency of your team. That's what I think the Cavs haven't had at times is consistency, which may sound crazy because they won 64 games, but I just think in the way the injuries they've had and come postseason, they don't look like a team that has those consistent habits and just the depth. But I think this trade gives you both.
I don't know. That's something to think about. Bringing Colin Sexton back.
I don't mind that. Which that would be wild to bring back the guy you traded Donovan Mitchell for.
Yeah,
but you're trying to win a championship, and they've always spoken highly of Colin since he left. I mean,
Kobe Altman, competitor. He's a dog.
Yeah, Kobe Altman gave him a lot of praise when he left and said he was a part of, turning that culture in a rebuild. And I like that a lot. I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable too, because if I'm a team like the Jazz, I get a guy, Jarrett Allen, who's a consistent starting center. He could be an all-star. You got him for a good. I think Jarrett Allen's contract for the market nowadays isn't terrible. It's 4 years, $20 million.
It's friendly.
You got Isaac Okoro for 2 more years. See what you got out of him.
That's another contract you can move. Isaac Okoro,
right? And maybe Jarrett Allen's another guy down the road. If you hit your draft picks, now you got more picks. Maybe Jarrett Allen's a guy you could package again for a bigger player. You know what I mean? If you just showcase him well enough, you keep his numbers up there. Maybe he's an all-star. Maybe he sneaks an all-star in the West. Because all the other men in the West are kind of.
Wait, who you talking about? Who's sneaking all-star?
I said maybe Jarrett Allen could sneak an all-star in the West if he goes.
You think so?
Possibly, if he gets high. I'm not saying he could, but he could be a reserve.
I know you said sneak. I'm just thinking about the West. You got Wembanyama, AD.
Yeah, you got. But there's a lot of guys there with injury question marks.
That's if they don't. Yeah, that's if.
That's what. And I think his odds of being maybe at least a reserve would be kind of high.
Yeah, he go be a reserve.
But he's still getting paid. And he has a bigger role in Utah. You know what I mean? I think, and he's also a guy who maybe, like I said, 2 years from now, if they hit their picks and they're maybe a trade away from being a better contender, maybe they use him to package for somebody else. You know what I mean? The league's always shifting and moving every two. You know what I mean? There's always it's chess. There's always a piece that goes here to here to here. You know what I mean?
And it's a copycat league too.
Right.
You seen a lot with that. It was a lot of. I saw a report. People was trying to copy the cash formula, and you seen it with the double bigs. The team started, trying to play double bigs, and you look at OKC with the double bigs. The Knicks trying to do it. I think the Mavericks. The idea of trading for Anthony Davis was because of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, and how that duo was working. That was the idea of the Mavericks trading for Anthony Davis. They had said.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about defensively though. Suggs, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, and let's say maybe a Walker Kessler. That's a pretty damn good defensive team too. Because I think Donovan, when if he's your fifth best defender on your starting five, that's not terrible. I mean, he showed flashes in the playoffs. He's just so athletic where he could get in the passing lanes, get some steals.
He can play can play defense.
I think it would actually energize him more because he'll have more energy defensively. I think it's all energy for him.
You just gotta break. You just gotta because with Darius, he gets picked on. Like you got two undersized guards. They're gonna hunt.
Yeah, and then Max Strus.
Like make less.
Come on, I mean
less flaws.
Yeah, Max Strus. And then if one of your bigs gets in foul trouble, now you're really screwed. You know what I mean? That's what we saw a lot of sometimes in this postseason. It's just, I mean, you can't have that.
Shout out to B Skrills.
Shout out B Skrills. I see you over my channel too. Good to see you.
Shout out to B. He said Chris Fedor be pissing a lot of Cavs fans off, but he low key be kicking some science though. LOL.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Cleveland fans, you tell them the truth at first. At first, they hate you because they don't want to hear it. They're sick and tired of the same crap.
Yeah.
And then their emotions settle down, and then logic kicks in, and then they're like, you know what? Not that bad.
Yeah, you just gotta like a lot of people just. I get it though, but people just be like, I don't think a lot of like some people probably don't like this idea, like the Darius Garland fans out there. A lot of we get attached to some of these guys when like even when they was attached to regular players like Lamar Stevens and Cedi Osman. Like I always knew like they was expandable, but some fans didn't like trading them away.
Who did Indiana give up to acquire Halliburton?
Oh man, was it Sabonis? Was it Sabonis?
There you go, Sabonis, and they had Oladipo, who was like the dude in Indiana. He went to Indiana, and Indiana basketball. You know this, Indiana. If you're a legend in Indiana basketball in Indiana, they treat you like you're a freaking walk on water. And Oladipo had some decent years. He made an All-Star, was scoring. They had Sabonis.
He did his thing. He did his thing.
But they took a risk. They said, we're going to bring in a guy in Halliburton who a lot of people were sleeping on when he came in the draft because he couldn't shoot, allegedly. Right? He was a bigger guard. They said, how do we play him? All the stuff you hear now. I think this is similar. I mean, here, the Indiana fans, I'm sure they got attached to Sabonis and Oladipo especially, but I think it worked out for them in the long run because they had a well-constructed team.
Mm-hmm.
And their coach was allowed to able to do the things he wants to do. Rick Carl's a very good coach. So that's what it's all about, dude. It's about team basketball. You talk about trends and stuff. Something that's always negated trends in the history of team sports is just good team basketball or good team football. Like just there's still basic fundamentals of the game that you could never escape, no matter how the league is trying to get creative with analytics and all this stuff. Team basketball, any level, is always what is, having the proper balanced team. Guys that know how to play with each other and makes everybody else better. It sounds simple, but we've got...
It makes everyone better.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you back.
No, I was just saying the one thing that's always been consistent is having in team sports is playing good team ball. Teams that are well constructed and that pieces complement each other. No matter what trends happen in the leagues, you know what I mean, with analytics, that's the one consistent.
At the end of the day, it takes a team, man. It takes a
Right.
team. Donovan can't just do it himself. It takes a team. And
We've watched the one man hero ball for 3 years.
Yeah, it don't work. You're not going to. It's not
And
going to.
I think people get, because we had LeBron James and we saw LeBron do it some years where it looked like it was a one man show. Even those teams, they didn't have the greatest talent sometimes, but they were still teams constructed that fit him. But he's also a generational. We're never going to see a player like that ever again.
Yeah,
in our lifetime.
generational talent. Yeah.
So I think fans, Cleveland fans, especially times, because we were so used to watching 23 for 11 years. We think Donovan could be the same guy. We treat Donovan like he's LeBron James. And Donovan's great, but he is not LeBron James.
Not the same size.
Nor will he ever be. Yeah.
Yeah, it just can't compare. Like Donovan is elite, but he just can't handle the same duties.
I mean, you take a guy like Allen Iverson, for example, in Philly. I think Allen Iverson's one of the greatest players of all time. I think his talent was just that good. Allen Iverson could have been all pro in football. He was that freak of an athlete. But people are lucky Philly was cheap all those years and didn't put talent around him because he was just a one-man show. Now, he was so great that he led them that far. He was just that great where defense would say, we're going to put 3-4 guys zoned in on you. We don't care about the other 4 guys. We just have to stop you. And they still couldn't stop the man. But I think he's an example. Imagine if
his size.
Right.
I have AI ranked high. You know,
I do too. I know these analytical people try to shit on him in the media, but
he didn't win, but it don't even matter. Like,
but it's not his fault they didn't win. Philly just, like Gilberto said, Philly was just cheap. But I mean, imagine if he just had a couple more decent, better pieces around him. He probably would have won the championship possibly. Because he was just that great. But I think Donovan, as great as he is, we saw some greatness in that Indiana series. I mean, look at the heroics in some of those games, especially game 2. At the end of the third quarter, he'd start going off, score like 10 straight points, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, he was making records and everything.
You made an investment in this guy too, and it's like when I had Johnny LeGrera on, who's a world class trainer. And works sports science, deals with athletes every single day. And one of the biggest causes of injury, overuse. You know, if you want this guy to sustain, you paid an investment on this guy. You need to help him out and not overrun. And overuse causes injuries. So, if we keep doing what we've done with Donovan the last 2 to 3 years, especially this year, it's not going to go well for us in the future. You got to help the guy out.
Yeah, you don't want the guy you don't want to run him to the ground, man.
No.
You really don't. That's why it's important for Evan Mobley, development even more, taking that next step. We need him to be better. Just be better, right. Be that guy now. So, but my question to you is, Joseph, though, so do you think we overreacting by giving up on Darius, Garland, and Allen, or like?
No, I mean you got 4 years of evidence, and here I hate to be nitpicking, but one critique I have of Darius Garland, you brought up something about immaturity.
Yeah, I'm being mature. Yeah,
I just watch his body language at times out there, like when he came back in that game 4. And I give the guy props. He's out there playing on a bad toe injury. I get it. Toe injuries suck, right? It sucks, but at one point in that game, too, he's out there literally just picking his hair, and he gets beat back door.
I know.
I'm like, dude, you're down 2-1, and you're out there worried about tying your hair. I'm just sorry. To go back to Colin Sexton, I never saw Colin Sexton do that one time. Colin Sexton maybe wasn't as great as Darius was at times, but
I think the mentality.
That dude was a dog. And that dude, he would die out there in that basketball court. Like, even on defense. Yeah. Remember that one play his second year where Charles Barkley loved it? I remember TNT where he was basically guarding 2 guys on the perimeter and he was sitting there.
The Raptors?
Yeah, and he was sitting there like he was glitching in a video game.
Yeah.
But that dude, that is tremendous defense.
That's I
remember Charles Barkley said, like, I haven't seen that back when I played. Like, that kind of effort.
You want a guy like that in your locker room, man.
Yeah, it's contagious.
I'm mad that I didn't get a chance to see him in the playoffs. You know,
Yeah,
because
and
I'm
that's
pretty
at any
sure
any
that's his
level
moment.
you play at, you have to have that. I mean, when I won a national championship in 2012, and we were 7th, 8th grade guy, we played against older competition football. But I guess what, our coaching staff, our head coach, an assassin, mindset wise, assassin. The guys we had
Mhm.
out there, straight killers. That's why we went up against older competition. We got the results we got, and I learned from that year, and it helped me with what I do now, covering it, because you know how to identify that. What the ingredients you have to have in your locker room. And I just don't see that with Darius. I really don't. I just don't. I think he's more of just a guy who is okay making all-stars, and
He smile a lot. I know a lot of people
he
don't
got
like when he's
paid.
smiling during the losses.
Yeah, I mean, he got paid. He's a
Yeah, he got paid.
clutch sports client. He gets a lot of endorsement deals, I'm sure. You know, I'm not saying he doesn't want to win. I'm not saying that, but I just
No,
don't.
I think he do want to win. He always talk about how he want to win the championship with
Right.
Cleveland.
There's speaking it when I watch it.
Yeah, I know. Doing
And when
his
I
speaking
watch
to
you picking your
fans.
hair and you're getting beat back door, when you're down 2-1, I really have some concerns there, like legit. And I think that's fair, you know.
And Patrick Beverly said it, man. I didn't like what he said, but he called it out with the two guards. He said Darius Garland gonna have to show up and he
Yeah.
gonna play defense. The
And
minute
Pat
you don't
knows.
play,
Pat's an undersized guard. He was only 6'1", but he made his
good at what he
living.
do. He good
He
at
made
what he
it.
does.
Yeah, he made a living being a dog
Because
defensively.
when you that side, you have to be. If you're not elite on the other side, you're gonna have to be able to play defense at that size.
Right. And I just think
You got to.
you can have two guys that could score like that. It'll win you a lot of games because it's the regular season.
Regular season though.
Right, it's the regular season. Guys are lollygagging times. You look at all the team. Like Matt, we'll go back when LeBron was here in his latter years, like his last year here. They were the 4th seed that year, but the Cavs knew we just need to win a certain amount of games.
Yeah, we knew what it was.
Right, that's what great teams do. Like the Pacers.
Coasting.
Pacers were what, the 4th seed. But
Yeah.
imagine the confidence they're going to have now going forward. They're going to say, well, we just have to get a certain amount of games, maybe pick a matchup we like in the first round. If we're seeded here or here, get home court maybe, we'll be fine. That's what good teams do. I mean, they're not worried about winning as many games as possible.
That number one seed stuff, man. I know people was like, yeah, we need it, but it really.
It don't matter because, I mean, there's only one team in the history of two teams in history of basketball that won that many games because they were just that great. You look at the Warriors team in 16.
And the Bull.
And the Bulls, because the Bulls, Jordan was just pissed coming off that Magic series loss, and he came out of retirement basically, and
Jack,
added Dennis Rodman, and they just couldn't. They were just that great. You just couldn't stop them. I mean, they were it was all Jordan, and he did the job. But that's a rare. You're never going to see that again. You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah, you just named
everybody.
two. You just named two historic teams though. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. That's my whole point.
Right, Cavs ain't that.
Yeah, ain't that, and nobody in the league is right. It's great as Oklahoma City Thunder are, and they might win the ship. But I guarantee you, next year they probably won't win many games, but they'll still be great and they'll still be a contender. You know what I mean? It's just that you start to understand the form more. But the Cavs, though, when come postseason, they're down to have it. It's like you said at the beginning of your show, you hit the nail right on the head. As this team has constructed good to win in the playoffs, they're not.
Not even the playoffs though. Just the champion. We talking about winning the championship. That's what.
I agree, but they're not good enough to get out of the second round.
I like the playoffs, like the champ, like they not second round.
I'll tell you, if we ran it back, this whole run it back mentality that fans get attached to because they don't. Fans especially, because my gosh, we want something so great in our sports. I mean, we had so much bad things in us, but I'm just telling you, man, if we ran it back and we played, let's say, the Pistons next year with a bigger point guard again, and they got a year under their belt now, I'd be nervous playing them because I think they could give us the same problems that Indiana gave us. Just because they have a bigger guard and they're tougher.
Detroit made New York work. So
right, that's what I'm saying. They're just a tough team. You know what I mean? Like you have to look around in your conference to be aware. Okay, this is what we have to deal with in the next five years at least, and we're not on that level right now. How are we going to get there? And you got to do what's necessary to get there. Sometimes it may seem crazy, but it's like you said, we got to take risks.
you gotta be willing to take a risk. Like we already talked about this before. If you gotta take a risk on these guys, like Celtics took a risk. Like you see how they built that. Like they took like KP is injury prone. They took a risk with KP.
Mm-hmm.
They got them Drew Holiday. Even before that, they had brought in Dag White. Like that team was slowly being put together, and it came together nice. So it's
You
like
can't worry about who your fans are attached to either.
Mhm.
I think that's what a lot of it.
Darius Garland.
Jarrett Allen, nice guy, likes anime, got an afro.
I think
hell of an
a
afro.
lot of fans love DG more though. DG,
I think they love them both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like them both too. I like Jarrett Allen a lot. I think he
do
fits
too.
Cleveland pretty well, just his mentality. But I mean, here you know how great. I mean, I have family and friends in Boston or diehard Celtics fans. You know how much they loved Isaiah Thomas.
Oh
when he was that guy. But the Danny Ainge knew this ain't gonna work.
I was mad though. Look, I was mad though. Like I felt bad for the guy. Like I understand it's a business though. Like like you said, Danny Ainge knew. Like a lot
I'm
of
just talking about guys that fans are attached to. Like I remember like Victor Oladipo in Indiana, like I mentioned earlier. Those people loved Victor Oladipo because he was a Hoosier and he played for the Pacers and played well and was an all-star. But you can't. My whole point, the people that say run it back constantly, I just think they're the fans that get emotionally attached to their players. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of course.
Which is fine. You're a fan. It's why it's fanatic. That's why you're a fan.
Yeah, it happens.
It's emotional. But as a GM, I can't allow that. And the reason why I bring this up because when I listen to Kobe Altman after the season, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like his postseason press conference.
But Kobe Altman, he say things, but I take it, with a grain of salt sometimes because I know he has to be, like you said, PR political. Like he can say all them things, but he might actually have something like cooking up that might surprise us. Like he made a lot of moves over the years.
I would think he's he's calculated, but he does seem to be a little emotionally attached. And maybe it's just all acting.
Well, he's
I think he's attached to the guys he's drafted, but also this whole experiment.
I don't think he wanted to fire JB. I don't think he really wanted to fire JB.
No, I think he wants to be the guy that did it his way. You know what I mean? This is my team, the two-guard front that they've always preached since back when they hired John Beeline. And
that's him.
I stole Jarrett Allen in a trade. He's an all-star. And I got Max Strus, you know what I mean? Because I like him. He's my guy. And I signed him and got him here from Miami. And I think sometimes these GMs too, and I brought this up in your show, they can kind of live and die by what they created because they get emotional too sometimes. They're human beings. But I think Kenny Atkinson's probably pulling him aside and saying, listen, bud, I've been coaching a long time. Here's what we need to do. And maybe even Dan Gilbert too. I'm not saying Gilbert's back involved, but I'm sure there's some people in there that are saying, hey, you may want to explore some avenues here. It's been 4 years.
Well, I don't think Kenny wanted to trade Cass LeVert. That was his guy. I don't think. I know.
Here's the difference. I think with Kenny. Kenny probably has a relationship with Caris LeVert. That's his boy. But I think Kenny knew what was best for the team. I think Kenny's smart enough to won a championship, been around some great teams and organizations. He knows what's best for the team, and he knows that's what you have to do. Or else your ass loses a job. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I think Kobe Altman. Now, to be fair to him, he did trade Colin Sexton, who he was pretty attached to as well. Now you got to obviously it was an obvious upgrade. So, but I listened to him in the postseason up there. The only thing that stops me that didn't him trying to sell the offense and trying to sell, we think this can work. Almost like it was like a salesmanship. Now maybe that's for trade value. Maybe that's
I don't doubt. I learned for me personally, I don't doubt Kobe no more.
I think he's a hell of a GM. I think he's done a great job. Everybody said the guy wasn't going to do crap when LeBron left.
Yeah, right.
But I just hope he doesn't try to live and die by this, what he's been trying to do for the last 5 years. I think now it's time to shift. And you're trying to shift the philosophy of your team a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
That's all I'm saying. Because sometimes you've seen these, you cover this. I mean, how many GMs you see all the time that they're just a little stubborn. Right? They build their team the way they want, especially small market GMs. They get so attached to these guys. Small market teams, they always feel like the underdog. That's their mentality. You know what I mean? They got to build it their way. We're going to draft our player. That's why I always see those markets. They always have the playoff slogan, our way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's our way. And they really mean that. But a lot of those teams, like the Jazz, for instance, why has the Jazz been stuck in turmoil all these years? Because they've always tried to do it a certain way and this underdog mentality. And that's where's it gotten them?
Yeah, teams like the Jazz, Wizards still been in the same spot.
Yeah, I mean the Jazz, they're still hanging on to Stockton and Malone years.
Yeah, that's so long ago, man.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
90s, that's so long ago. Yeah, I don't know.
Even the great Pat Riley. You talk about the Heat culture and all this. That's all you ever hear about. But it might be time for Pat Riley to shift a little bit.
Yeah, Pat Riley needs to step down or retire or something.
Or just shift his philosophy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to give it up. Like, if it ain't working, you know, I hear great coaches all the time say, if it ain't broke, you know, people say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He said it. I hear great coaches say after every season, if it ain't broke, fix it.
I heard that before.
And then that was from the great Jim Tressel said that.
Yeah.
And the guy I see all the time now at Hoban, or here in Akron, Ohio, Jim Tressel was he's a Jim Tressel apprentice, let's say. But he uses the same model. You know what I mean? And just high school, and that's why they're dominant program, because if it ain't broke, fix it. You have to adapt you have to change and evolve constantly.
B. Skrill says he's listening to Kobe Altman.
And I think fans right now are like that, and that's why I think Kobe's got to make a move, because if he tries to run this back, I mean, just think about it too. Look how great they were this year. I thought this was the peak, in my opinion, this season, for this team in particular.
64 wins.
Right.
Second in Cavs record, franchise record.
You can't sell it again.
You know, you're not gonna be able to. It's yeah.
Like I like how people always bring up like, well, Denver didn't do it, and this team didn't do it, and look where they are. Well, Denver, those teams still made moves. You know what I mean? And those teams also, their star players complement each other a lot better than ours. They were, you know, especially height wise. Let's just start with height.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that Denver team, Jamal Murray. Yeah, he's what 6'3", but they had KCP out there. What 6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, KCP like 6'5", 6'6".
And then Michael Porter Jr. 6'10". That was a big ass team. And
then you bringing in guys. You bringing in like Bruce Brown,
Yeah,
defense
dog.
Yes, dog. Yes, he came from he was Detroit, then in Brooklyn. Bruce Brown was always a solid player, and you know he helped that Denver team. He helped that Denver team win a championship. Actually,
yeah. I remember he was hitting those threes. I was watching. Let's shout out to Ticket TV. I used to listen to his play-by-play. Every time I think of Bruce Brown, I think of this. Bruce Brown would hit a three. He'd be like, Doo-Doo Brown.
Doo-Doo Brown, yeah. Yeah, and I'm about to say, I'll try to figure out why I be calling him Doo-Doo Brown, because I be calling him that. Like, yeah, it's because
he's got so many names for all these
That's
guys.
why I call him Doo-Doo
That's
Brown.
Ticket, though. Shout out to Ticket. Legend. But, yeah, Doo-Doo Brown. But, yeah, I mean, people look at you can't just say, to me, that's just a hyperbolic statement to say, well, these other teams just did it. Well, you're not giving context. You know what I mean? You're not looking at the height. Look how big that Denver team was. You know what I mean? And also their big man down low was at max potential. Jokic. He was able to use his full skill set, and look what happened.
Yeah, we talking about top 5 players. So yeah,
right. Mobley has the ability to get there, but you have to allow him to get there. I don't think they've done that yet. I just think the way they're constructed now prohibits that.
Yeah, Mobley still got some growing to do. He still got some growing to do. I love what I saw from him, but he still got some. Shout out to Andre Doo-Doo Brown.
Yeah, Doo-Doo Brown.
Hey, Joseph, what you think about this? I missed the comment. He said if Colin Sexton wasn't hurt that last year before we got Donovan, we would have won in the play-in to the Hawks. I don't know if you remember the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I remember that.
We did have some injuries.
We had some injuries, maybe. Although, I mean, the Hawks, I think they were.
That Trae Young, man. Trae Young ripped, man.
Trae Young. And then who was their other backcourt mate?
Was it? Had They
It's
had
bigger.
who was it? Was it Donovan? No, who was it? You had Trey Young.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was Bogdanov. Who's 6'6", isn't he?
He's playing shooting guard, right?
Yeah, 6'6". They had all those wings too. They were just more bigger than us.
That was
And that's been the trend with the Cavs. Every time they've lost since they made the playoffs, the play-in that year against the Hawks.
John Collins, Clint Capella.
Yeah, every single year they lose to teams that are bigger than them in the backcourt.
We had it, but
more physical.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks, they bullied us. That's I'll be honest with you, that's a series where I started to question Darius. I thought Jalen Brunson gave it to him, bullied him.
Fans live off that. He did have that one game where he did come back and respond. They had that one moment that I can remember, but everything else is just gray.
And it's the two main consistent names.
And Donovan wasn't that great in that series. That was Donovan's first year here, and construction.
And it's the two names every time: Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, every time.
And that's what I'm saying. If you keep hearing the same thing,
that's what I'm saying. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Right. So at what point do you say, okay, enough is enough? It's that time to make that move. It's that time.
Yeah. I like the trade star we brought up today. I think they're actually pretty reasonable too. I mean, you look at the team of the Magic; they need a scorer. We
need a Darius Garland. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, and I think you call the Utah Jazz, you've already done business with.
Yeah,
Why not? It's affordable players. It's reasonable, and I think it makes you a better team.
You got a good relationship with Utah, definitely.
Yeah. And you're bringing back somebody the fans already like. I have no problem with it.
But you said, but bringing Colin Sexton means no Ty Jerome. No Ty Jerome.
Oh, you don't think? Well, I mean, what's his market though? Really,
I wouldn't pay I mean, I'm pretty sure his stock dropped, but
you got to remember too. What is Ty Jerome thinking? Does Ty Jerome think he can go somewhere else and still be as effective and have as much of a chance?
I take that discount, man. Ty Jerome take that discount. Whatever.
Collins can be making 19 on a 1-year deal. If I'm Ty Jerome, I would say, listen, if I'd come back, if I was Ty Jerome, I would sign a 1-1. Right, I want to play. I would try to do a 1-1 maybe, or just a 2-year deal. And so, if Colin Sexton's just a 1-year rental to try to win a championship, I can get more money that next offseason possibly.
Because we had Ty Jerome bird rights.
Right. So if I'm Ty Jerome, based on the performance you just had and your value right now, I know Wendy put out they could lose. I just don't know I don't know who's going to overpay him.
Yeah, I don't see unless a team that who got the money to just throw at Ty Jerome just because.
And would they really want to do that? Could you sell that? I mean, I just don't see. And he's such a unique player, anyways. His skill set, he's only going to fit in a certain amount of places.
Yeah, I think I would bring Ty Jerome. I could see people I could see maybe Sam Merrill. Maybe a team say, "Yo, we need 3-point shooting." So I don't know.
I can see Sam Merrill getting a little more money,
possibly,
just because he's a specialist.
Yeah, he's a specialist. I don't know what the free agency gonna look like for the shooters, but teams always need shooters. So,
Sam Merrill to me is very replaceable. I could find that in the second round of the draft. I could find that. He's
expandable.
I could find that. I could find that in the draft somewhere. I could find that the low-level free agent maybe.
I like Sam though.
I like him too, but he's not a guy that I got to keep him around.
And put him in the starting line.
And here, I'll be honest. I think Jalen Tyson can become something.
Oh, that's another.
Why can't Jalen?
Right.
Here's what I was thinking the other day too. I wanted to ask you, why can't Jalen Tyson be Nembhard?
He could. He could.
He's probably more talented.
I forgot about Tyson, man. I did a video about him being a future. I forgot about Jalen Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why can't Jalen Tyson be Nembhard?
Yeah.
You don't need. You know what I mean? You don't need much from him, but he can give you something.
6.5. He 6'6".
Can handle the ball. Can play defense. Showed he could shoot.
Shot make. Yeah. Shot create.
Yeah. I mean, why can't he be Nembhard?
Yeah. We got. Look, we have. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's definitely gonna have to take. I definitely want to see Jalen Tyson next season.
He's one of
actually
the
in the
rare
rotation.
guys. He's one of the few guys I've seen where they gave him more minutes and the productivity was there.
And then they didn't play him at. They
And then
didn't,
there's because I think
shot-
just because of trust issues, because there's
Yeah.
probably some things he still doesn't understand yet. But I think why can't he become that? He can't become
You gotta
Neymar.
throw him out there. Yeah, I think he's bigger. He's a bigger forward, guard, forward. He's a wing. Yeah, he's the wing that they were trying to sell when they drafted him.
I think he's just he's that combo guard that can.
I like what I saw from him when he
I
did.
think he's Neymar. That's who he reminds me of.
He has the off, like he has the offense.
Yeah, and Alex Caruso, Neymar type. Like that's valuable nowadays.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. I forgot about Jalen Tyson. You know.
So I mean, if you lose, let's say you lose Ty Jerome, but you bring in a Colin Sexton. I mean, could Tyson become the guy next to him out there? I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I think the kid's got game. He's a first round. I think he's got game.
He's nice when he, like you said, when he played, he showed though. He showed.
Yeah.
You know, he provided some.
The only guy that's a mystery to me, and I think it's more on them, is Imani Bates.
Yeah, Imani Bates is. We're gonna see what they do.
I've been waiting for Imani Bates to check in that game ever since we drafted him, and I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's something off the court. I don't know why they won't put him out there, but there's something wrong there, obviously.
Yeah,
but
that's Wiley guy.
The talent wise, that guy should be playing.
Yeah, but it's just on the other end also. I know he got big. He got stronger. He did. He be in the weight room. I know his frame.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I could see a coach being scared with a guy like him too, because he strikes me as the kind of guy who will go off script. Because he's just been so great his whole life at scoring the ball.
Yeah,
he battled.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I remember watching him in the middle school hoops tournament going against my guy Chris Livingston from Akron, and to watch those two guys just go back and forth. The way Imani Bates could score the ball at that age was just. I mean, that's why he had the hype he had. But those two, they would go at it. I remember they played in the middle school hoops tournament. And it was basically just a 1-on-1. You know, I mean, there were two teams going against each other, but it was basically a 1-on-1 with those two. And it was like, I think one guy finished with like 57, the other guy finished like 55 or so. It was something crazy, like just maybe in the 40. It was a high amount though. But that's his whole MO, his whole life is just his number one thing is he's such great of a scorer. In terms of scoring talent, he's a scoring talent. Like
he can get hot,
elite talent scoring wise. But I think that might be where a coach gets scared, like Agassi was. I think this guy might go too off. He might go too far off script. So we got to reel him in and kind of teach him. I think he played for his dad his whole life too, or a lot of
his
dad. Yeah, and then he went to Eastern Michigan. Went to college. Had some issues in college.
Memphis.
Played 1 year at Eastern Michigan in the MAC. So he may just need a little more time to, these last 2 years maybe.
When he lit up Michigan, I think it was Michigan. He lit up.
Yeah.
Eastern Michigan versus.
But this is the year where I'm kind of like, listen, man, is this guy going to play or what? Like, this is year 3 now. By year 3, year 4, you got to know who you are by that.
Either sign him or let him go, man. Let him go. Let him go somewhere else.
Yeah, let him go somewhere and.
Somebody
go to a bad team, probably. If I go to a bad team, just show what I could do scoring wise, I get a big contract down the road.
Yeah, I like Imani. He's a shot creator. I said it before. I feel like he's a guy that can win you a playoff game if he was.
He's a flamethrower.
He's a flamethrower.
I mean, if you had all the players in the NBA going a 1-on-1 tournament, he'd probably go a little further than people think.
He would have been first round if not for the outside stuff. He would have been first round. He went second round.
He's that. I think Kevin Porter Jr. is another guy who never reaches full. I mean, that guy
KBJ always.
That was a top 5 talent in that draft. That was a top 5 talent.
That's another risk that Kobe took a risk on that too.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that guy at Rutgers this year coming out in the draft.
Dylan, or are you talking about Ace?
Dylan Harper.
Yeah, Dylan Harper, nice.
Reminds me a lot of Kevin Porter Jr. The way he moves, like the way it's very similar. But that shows you how great Kevin Porter was. He just never panned out because of the other stuff. But
shout out to Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper, that guy, he's elite. I mean, that draft's looking pretty good too. But
Ron Harper's son.
Yeah,
Dad is a coach, so you know that the coaches the basketball players, you know, they're always gonna train their son, make sure they good.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I totally forgot about Jalen Tyson. But my whole thing with Tyson is why can't he become a Neimark? I think he can be. And Neimark's a pretty effective role player.
Nah, he's good. He's he
He's
always
good.
he lit us up. He
He's
lit
won
us up.
some games for them just making good basketball plays.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Another guy that you pair up and a guy and gives effort on the defense. You pair him next to Tyrese. They have something good over there. Well balanced team.
And that's what I'm saying. All I'm looking for is just versatile guys who know their role. That's all I'm looking for. That can complement our top guys.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. Complimenting. That's why I say, you know, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, put them pieces around them. I mean, it's time, I guess, to move on for DG. I like the Suggs idea. I know the red flag. I know you brought up the games played. It's red flags there, but
I
think
take the
I'll be open
risk.
to it. Yeah,
I
right.
take the risk. And here, Donovan and Evan Mobley are Bugattis, right? Darius Garland, he's a luxury car, but he's not a Bugatti.
No.
Jarrett Allen, nice car, maybe a TRX, but great car, and fast, but not a Bugatti. I mean, it's not that. So I think you got to build around the Bugatti. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Those are your two guys. Build around it. Look at OKC. We got Shea and Chet. Build around them.
Shea Chet, yeah.
Those are your two Bugattis. They build a team around them, and they're all big, athletic. Jalen Williams. I mean, all athletic guys that know
Those
their
they
roles.
and they drafted them.
Right.
Yeah, those they guys.
And they
Lou
build
Dort?
a team. Yeah, Caruso, guys that all know their role, but they all complement those two guys mainly.
Yeah, we need to find. Yeah, so we need to find a deal that works for the Cavs, man. Trading them two guys away, whether people want to do it or not. I'll be open to dealing before I shut it down. The Jalen Suggs thing. So you said, I know you said the Walker Kessler. So the trade I did with Jalen Suggs, and 2 picks. Would you want more from the Magic, like another player, or?
No, I think I'm good with those 2 players because I don't know. I mean, all the other players are either you're not going to get them because they're too good, like Franz Wagner, you're getting him.
No, you can't. Yeah, we ain't gonna be able to get him.
Or you're getting somebody else that's maybe a little overpaid. I think I'm good with those 2 players. And it doesn't log jam the locker room. They fit right in. They'll have a role right away. I would try to get maybe another pick if I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If I'm the Cavs, I could say, listen, you're getting all caliber point guard who can drop 50 any night.
And you getting us a
want
guy
some
that's
picks.
injury prone too.
Right. I want some picks because then I can use those picks for future deals, or I got a first round pick now I can use. I'm always looking for. I think in that scenario, because I look at the Magic roster, I think if I can just get those 2 guys and if I get a 3rd pick, maybe another first, I don't know. Not what it's like, but I mean, you are getting Darius Garland. It's not a slouch. I like that. Give me another pick, because then I can use that pick for help my team even more in a different deal. You know what I mean? Where I can go to the Jazz and say, here, they can't resist this offer because this is a good amount of picks that they need, and I get players now to complement my roster.
You gotta sell, and you gotta sell these guys. While the value is high. I know Darius probably get better. He still got some years, but yeah, I think sell these guys while they got value. Also with Jarrett Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think now's the time to do it. I think the Cavs, if they ran it back and risked it one more year, and the same result happened, which I think maybe you could say maybe a little better. But I don't think they'd get out of the 2nd round again. I just don't think this team can, like we talked about earlier. Now their value is lowering each year. The more you keep trying to drag it on, because teams are going to start to say, well, these guys are getting older, number one, but also how effective are they in terms of trying to compete for championship? You have to trade them now while their value is as high as it is.
Yeah, you gotta get. Hey, and we're not the only one that's trying to get better. So
Right. I think you got to do it now because if you wait too long, you could take a risk, and that could bite you in the ass.
Oh, I agree, man. I think I'm open to it, man. So
Yes.
so yeah, man. I appreciate you for coming up, man. You wanna of course, shout out to the channel, man. I know you just had a last live. You did a show. You and Mike did a show last night on the Browns. You want to let people know where they can
Yeah,
find
we
you?
had a great show last night. I don't know if I've ever read that many comments in my life.
Yeah, it was lit.
The Prime fans were in the house, so shout out to them. They saw it and they showed some love. But last night's show, check us out. We talked about the Browns at length, and there was a lot of fan engagement in the chat. Hubble was in the chat holding down the fort for me. I appreciate you, Hubble. So yeah, last night was great. I did an interview last week with a legendary trainer, coach, or world-class trainer, legendary coach, Johnny LeGrere. Go check that out. Great interview. And I think we have some other shows as well in the Real Media with the Professional Fan with Mike Antonis. We got The Fix coming back with Dan and Chris, the sports betting show. So, and we have some more stuff brewing too. We'll announce that at a later date. But yeah, come check us out. Come show some support. And like I always say, subscribe to this channel too. Tunes over here doing the same thing I'm trying to do. I think, that's why we like working with each other, because we're two guys with the same goal and just for the love of the game, passion for what we do. And so if you're a Cavs fan, you're not subscribed to Tunensports, like I keep saying, you're not a real Cavs fan. I hate to break it to you. You're just a casual. Like you're a bot, as my sister said. You're just a bot. Like if you're not subscribed to Tunensports and you're a Cavs fan, if you're an NBA fan, you gotta subscribe to Tunensports.
Yeah, man.
He's working his tail off over here. He's done great content. Not many guys can sit up here and break it down like he does. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of thought and work to do that, more than people think. And so, yeah, subscribe to the man and give him some love and come back and hit the like button every video. And that's all I got. See you guys in the next one.
Appreciate you, man, as always, man. Shout out to Joseph, man. His banner right there. Y'all want to sub to Joseph, man. Appreciate him. Always. Appreciate my people. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Shout out to everybody, of course, on the playback. And shout out to B Skrills. I ain't see B Skrills in a while, man. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Joseph. Y'all tap in. He just did a Brown show, him and Mike. They was talking about the quarterback situation with that. So y'all make sure y'all check them out. It is in my community post. So y'all check them out, man. Give them a subscribe. Give them a like, But I appreciate them, man. Of course, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. But that's the pretty much the end of the show, man. We're just getting started, man. The off season hasn't officially started yet, but it started, for us. For Cavs fans, it started. But when the off season really gets started, it's really gonna get crazy. Not with just the Cavs, but around the NBA, it should be like more news. Like expect more Cavs rumors, expect more rumors with other teams, LaMelo Ball and other guys, Giannis. Like it's gonna heat up, man. So all I can say is, man, just stay tuned in, of course, man. And we're gonna break down, any official trade news, any trade rumors as soon as possible, of course, man. And again, before I walk out, man, don't forget to push that like button.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button.
What are you doing?
I'm just playing along. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
Just push that like button, man. He said, shout out to Joseph. Luke gotta get pressure washing now. Hey, man, do your thing, man. Yeah, Joseph, shout out to Joseph, man. Good guy, man. Joseph out there, he's working. Joseph working. Well, hopefully, you have a great rest of your day, man. Joseph out there working, though, man. But I appreciate you for coming on, bro. You already know, man. But yeah, let me just hit this.
Because a man is always capable. Make sure he understands the moment, because a man always understands the moment. And you know what else a man does? What? He says, give me my theme music.
Shout out to the proms. But nah, let them know. Go Cat.
And he has brought new life to the Cavs and Cleveland since LeBron James. And when I say the best shooting guard in the league, I'm standing on that. He is Donovan Mitchell, Spider.